Alrighty. Howdy ho, folks.
Next time.
Multiversal Medium here for another episode of Silent Hope.
All malice gone.
Last episode, I think we just went a bit deeper, you know, usual nonsense. And also we
That was incredible.
went a bit over the compendium and all that.
Nice
This
and fresh.
episode, I thought I already checked all this, but whatever.
If you don't mind.
May as well just do all this nonsense real quick.
Thank you.
Get all this sorted.
Production will continue to
Any
advance while
butt.
you're exploring the abyss.
I forgot how chatty this girl was. It's been a minute since I played this. You know, usual nonsense.
Wouldn't it be fun to hold a festival comparing the milk quality of
Yeah.
all the cows?
I totally forgot how super chatty she is. She's just like, yeah, talking, right? And it's like, I find it cool that you have
If you don't
dialogue about everything. That is nice.
Production will
The fact
continue
that
to
you
advance while you're
feel
exploring the abyss.
like you need to keep giving dialogue
I
for
hope your work goes
everything,
smoothly.
though, is a bit much,
Can't
yo.
wait to see the finished
bit.
product.
Not for nothing.
A thing of
Alrighty.
beauty is a joy forever.
Let's just crank
Thank you.
out as many of these as we can.
Production will continue to advance while you're exploring the abyss.
Yeah, sure, why
I
not?
hope your work goes smoothly.
Pop that on as
If
well.
you don't mind.
Then we can actually get into the dungeon and start diving.
That's how this alchemical process works.
You know, usual nonsense, usual nonsense.
When you think
JRPG
about it, waiting
nonsense.
is part of the fun.
Is it? Is waiting part of the
Production
fun?
is underway.
I don't remember that being part of the fun. You know, whatever. Yeah.
When you think about it, waiting
There we
is
go.
part of the fun.
Alrighty, let's dive in. How far did we make it down? Hold up. Okay, grilled tomatoes.
It's
Something
hard
with
to
two.
choose between so many delicious dishes.
Heal power. Rune gain. Max HP. Let's just go with skill
You
cooldown.
must choose each dish very carefully.
Yeah.
And like they always say, you are what you eat.
Alrighty. Are we good to keep going like super further down already? I don't know if level wise we're good, but we may as well try around here. Try to go into new territory, all that fun stuff. Oh. I kind of miss playing this game. I think I've mentioned before, but it controls well, it's fun. Actually feels nice to play.
So many wonderful memories. During the festival, our whole kingdom would celebrate. We gave thanks for the earth's bounty. Our days were filled with feasting and fun. The king would personally show his gratitude for our people's labor. He cooked handmade pizza for them. It tasted delicious. More delicious than anything you could imagine.
That is a very romanticized version of monarchy, I'd say. I can't think of any country anywhere where the freaking ruler of the country would just be like, hey, so I made some pizza for you guys. Just showing up at a random party. And it's like, okay. Thank you, my liege. It's a bit odd is all I'm saying. Here we go. Slowly relearn rotations and nonsense. That is about the only gripe I'm gonna kinda have with this. Is that since you're controlling so many characters, you're kind of learning a lot of different rotations. And that's before we even take into account that each character has different classes they could be switching to and maybe has a better rotation of what you'd want to be playing. Like, arguably, I do like the farmer girl. Some about her gameplay style feels nice. I am curious if the second I switch her to what is it, like a ranger? Is that it? Oh, that's a new enemy type. There we go. Got like a little armadillo thing. That's awesome. I love it. It's so cute. It's freaking adorable. But, basically, I have no guarantee when I switch classes whether or not I'll like it, but I will have to learn a completely new class's rotation if I really want to test it out. That doesn't sound too bad. It's like, oh, it's just 3 skills or whatever. It's like, yeah, but it's 3 skills across what? 8 or so characters, and it's 3 skills per class, so it's 8 times 3. So it's actually like, what, 24. It's 24 different, like, rotations depending on who you're, like, controlling at any given moment. Takes a bit of brain power, yo. Especially for an action game. Oh, I completely flubbed that. I suppose the only other gripe I'd have is the inability to animation cancel. It's something I was like so happy to see in that one TGIF I did. Animation canceling in a action RPG or an action game setting whatsoever is like, oh, you can actually get good at this, huh? Like, you can actually get super good at this. Like, the kind of good where you can do, like, really, really difficult fights with skill alone. Doesn't matter what you have equipped, man. That kind of good, man. Because, yeah, I think I mentioned in an early episode of Fitty the Fish, my first series. It's like, yeah, I played ESO a lot. I've mentioned it in probably a few series, actually. That was my MMO of choice. I am just stuck here now. Cool. I just kind of got underneath him while doing that charge attack, and there was no way out of it. Lovely. Oy vey. Hopefully one of these times I pick up that. I'll get the healing one. I'm gonna have to keep up on trying to do snack time, basically. Ooh. Oh, I dodged it. Nice. I like how I freaking, like... So... that move's supposed to make them attack each other. Some enemies just kind of bugger off in a random direction. And not for nothing, but that's kind of annoying, and that's the entire purpose of the skill. They're supposed to fight each other. Especially when right next to each other. Gosh, do sometimes they just want to go in a random direction on an enemy they should not even be able to see, as opposed to the dude directly right next to him. Ah, well. Is what it is. Anyways, as I was saying, ESO is my MMO of choice, basically. I like it a lot. It has its issues, and that's why I stopped playing it. But it was enjoyable when I was playing it. But that game has a very high skill ceiling comparatively to the skill floor you'll get when you actually know how to play the game. That is highly based around animation canceling into various other skills and attacks. Because unlike most other MMOs, it's action-based. Purely and entirely, where it's like, even your basic attacks are you hitting a button. It's set up a lot more like an action RPG than most MMOs with their auto attack system, where you just weave in skills. And you can set up a macro to do your entire rotation if you're smart enough to on some classes. Talking about you, wow. Like, yeah, doing a macro isn't going to technically make you the best at that class, but it's going to make you able to do a majority of content on that class. For some classes, yo. And, I don't know, that doesn't feel like a proper action game in my book, and I don't know. Depending on what I want out of a game, that kind of ruins it. I've tried to get into WoW so many times. So many times. I just can't. I really can't. It's not the type of game I want to be playing. Which is weird because, like, I do kind of like those types of games. I've played them a lot over the years. I mean, I think I've gone on record saying Final Fantasy XII is one of the only Final Fantasies I actually like. Because I don't like the majority of the series. Why is the stun from that one skill so just random? Like, duration-wise. Yeah, like, they're staying in it for a while that time, but when I just did it the time before, they immediately got out of it. It's just kind of a range, or what? Yeah, whatever. It's not the biggest issue or anything. Dude, if you got a spinny attack, how come you're not using that on any of the enemies when I'm stunning you or confusing you, man? There we go. Slowly getting back in the swing of it. But yeah, I can play those kind of like auto attack, mixed skills kind of things. Games, I can. I like Xenoblade Chronicles. I like Final Fantasy XII combat-wise. It's not an issue with that. I like BioWare style computer RPGs where it's just that technically. I've never really had an issue with that combat. It's just something about WoW specifically where it's like, this don't seem to be like really hitting as hard as it should, man. This don't feel right. Not really enjoying this nonsense. What the heck it is. And it's like, it's also paired with like, yeah, I do tend to prefer more action RPGs nowadays. I do. I grew up with turn-based, and I started moving away from it as a kid. Is what it is. Preferences and what you like changes over time. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. The not times being like, you knowing you used to like something, but you just cannot get into it anymore, even as you're trying to. That's always a bit depressing. But the other times, like, things like your preferences in a partner changing over time, that's a good thing. Unless it's specifically, like, not staying with the type of partner you're with. Like, oh, my preferences in my partner changed, and I'm married to my partner. Oh, no. That's kind of a bad thing. Like, what happened there, man? I don't know. Probably shouldn't have gotten married. I don't know. Specifically, I'm glad my preferences in my partners has aged with me, basically. That's always a good thing. You don't want your preferences in a partner to be at a certain age, especially when you're not that age, yo. You really don't. Don't just leave it at that. Because it gets creepier the more you talk about it. I'm glad my preferences aged with me. Anyways, but yeah, I like more action RPG oriented games now. Able to do a bit more. You feel like you're kind of skilled by doing combo nonsense. You're honestly not, because you're just leveling, you know. Kind of what I need to get through and all that. Okay, like that time, they're all confused and all that. They were still chasing me. Are some just immune to the attack each other aspect of that skill or what? Whatever. Anyways, with that in mind, I've even tried like the more action-oriented classes in WoW. And they just never really stuck. They really didn't. Like I've gotten to max level on a few classes and it's just like, no, I'm not digging this game. There's some about WoW that just does not, it's not kosher in my brain, man. It's just not good. It's annoying. I wanted to be able to get into that game multiple times and it just never happened. Because my fiance's super into WoW. She likes it. It's just, nah, man, it just ain't for me. And that's the sad bit. It's like, I know this isn't a bad game. I just don't like it. It's kind of like the opposite of, well, not exactly the opposite, but it's kind of similar to Final Fantasy with one major detail. Like, I tried very hard to get into Final Fantasy over the years with majority the same results, but I knew a lot of people who liked it. And it's like, yeah, they're saying all this stuff about it. It's like, I tried so hard to get into it. And like, afterward, I'm like, there is no way to get me to like this. I just don't like it. They're bad games. But I wasn't allowed to say they were bad games in a sense because people would get angry. They'd be grumpy about it. How dare I say Final Fantasy, the best JRPG series ever, quote unquote, or whatever, is bad because it has issues and actually legitimately is bad. How could I say that? Nobody said anything negative about Final Fantasy around here. It's the only JRPG people around here swear by. Nah, I'm glad. People are starting to play different JRPGs. Because it's letting them just experience things beyond Final Fantasy. Because I don't think there's a lot of people who, if you said, hey, have you played any JRPGs, would think about anything beyond Final Fantasy for a long time. Like, obviously, the people who really actively get into the genre would have different opinions about various games. But when you have the major IPs and staples, like, gosh, just a lot of like major IPs that have been around since the genre kind of started, not making it to the US, it's kind of hard for US citizens to think there's really heavy hitters beyond Final Fantasy when Final Fantasy isn't good as a heavy hitter. Was there one more? This is going back into detail of all the stuff I talked about in Harvestella. Nope, said that. There we go. There we go. A lot of enemies all at once. Oh, stuck. Gosh dang, man. It is always a hassle anytime it happens. I am glad that bubble or whatever will keep your combo going, actually. I did notice it was resetting it. Was that a turnip monster? Did it say it was a turnip monster? It's hilarious. I love it. It's freaking just so funny. I love monsters just based on stupid things. It's the best. It really is. Getting a lot of legendary level gear. Like a lot. We are still on the same floor we entered in on. And we've got like, I want to say 3 or 4 pieces of legendary gear. Or should I say recipes. Because you don't pick up gear. Eh, whatever. It's funny. How is this floor so long? We still haven't found a single, like, means of switching out characters either. This floor's just going, man. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It's refusing to stop. Do they still use that as an ad thing? Yeah, whatever. Can I hit this from here? No. But yeah, it's annoying when you know a game's good and you still can't get into it. It's annoying when you know any piece of media is good and you're just like, no, there's all this stuff should kind of be clicking. It's just not. Because at that point, you don't have the vitriol of like me with Final Fantasy where it's like, yeah, I tried. They sucked. Don't ask me to try again. I know better now. Kind of stuff. You don't have the vitriol of Tales of the Abyss where it's like, well, like he has this like character growth moment 10 hours in and then it's good. Like, no, it's, yeah, this is good. I just don't like it. I don't know, maybe at some point I would have liked WoW. And if I had played WoW at that point, maybe the nostalgia would make me still like WoW. Turnip Trickster, okay. But sadly, I never got into WoW at that point in my life where I would have liked it probably. So I'm stuck in the limbo of WoW's just what else? What else? Oh well. Back onto the topic that went on that. ESO. Yeah. Since that game has such like a high skill ceiling, it gets annoying to do some end game content. Like, basically for a lot of like super end game content, you need to be good at the skill ceiling. You really do. You, as a DPS, need to be able to do numbers that you won't be able to do unless you've got a lot of dexterity and able to properly handle those animation cancels and stuff. It's arguably I don't know, when it comes to MMOs, I have mixed views on this because I feel like people who do master a game should be able to get rewards. Destroy 15 breakable objects before going to the next floor. Okay, yeah, sure. I usually do that. But, yeah, when it comes to MMOs, obviously the dudes who are good at it should be rewarded for that. That's kind of a given. Like, being rewarded for doing something and being good at it is how people try to get good at things. And why they might want to do it. But locking certain content beyond such a skill ceiling and certain rewards beyond a skill ceiling is disheartening to a degree, I guess you could say. Like, ESO is a buy to play game. It's a game that you purchase and there's no subscription, so you don't need to worry about a constant monthly thing unless you pay for a certain subscription service that you do not need. Let's just go through. So yeah, have her up.
Keep up the good work.
But with that kind of like monetization set up for an MMO, basically, they had to find some other way to keep making money because they constantly need to spend money to keep the servers up so people will play on it. So basically, if they're not doing something to make money, they're losing money at any and all times. So having like a cash shop or a premium subscription, fine, whatever. But then it goes into the realm of DLCs. Okay, cool, whatever. The issue with ESO's DLC thing is the entire game is scaled to your player. So no matter what level you're really at, you're going to still have a bit of a challenge. It's nice, actually. I do like that. It means no matter where you're questing, whatever you're doing, it feels like you're making progress in some way, shape, or form and getting better at the game. Obviously, for basic zones and stuff, and enemies that aren't super meant to be tough bosses or anything, you're not gonna have issues once you know how to play the game. You could easily plow through them. Especially when you get to higher levels, when you start getting, you know, better gear and everything that you keep, and gear sets and everything. So there is a reason to level up, even though everything's scaled to your level, kind of, sort of. But even with that in mind, DLC stuff is set up with endgame players in mind, and not just like regular endgame players, like meta chaser endgame players. And it's like, yeah, a more casual player, which is what I usually am, can do some of this stuff, depending. It feels like it changes every single patch whether or not I'd actually be able to do some of this stuff. Simply because, yeah, like, part of the DLCs they'll release will be like new dungeons or whatever, with new item sets. They're just fun to mess around with. That's actually what I love to do in ESO before it changed too much, was mess around with the item sets and theory craft unmeta builds, basically. I didn't care about chasing meta, I cared about new fun ways to play, because the item sets before a few updates really changed how every class played, as well as every role. You could do a lot of stuff that were not meta, and it was nice, it was fun. It's just that's not what ESO is anymore. I couldn't keep doing that. So that's why I stopped playing. But basically, with that in mind, there we go, get them all out in one hit. Dungeons and like raids and stuff, yeah, cool. You can get a casual group and probably plow through a lot of them. But some item sets and some stuff is locked behind doing things like, I guess you could call it like hard mode on them. It's like, okay, cool, fine. Maybe I can get a few dudes together and we can actually do this hard mode. But we really need to know the mechanics for that. That's annoying. Fine, whatever. But yeah, I guess we could do it and get some items. And it's like, oh, but if you do it super hard mode, no death, speed run, that's when you'll get the items you actually want. It's like, oh, what items do I actually want? Oh, you know, just the collectible stuff that's usually in the cash shop, that kind of stuff. If you do all this Chivo hunting, you can get that stuff in game. It's like, ah, man, come on. In a game that's basically buy to play, obviously, like I said, they have a cash shop. Complete the monster rush in 90 seconds. I'm not going to be able to do that, especially when I don't remember what's what. Okay, that one's the black hole. That's the explosion. Okay. Get it, got it good. Wait for them to respawn. Okay. Probably not going to be able to do it, but whatever. Get all these dudes up. Come on. I know there's more, yeah. Ah, gosh, dang it. Oh, I got stuck out of the animation because of that. That's interesting. I didn't know he could knock me out of my skill and I just lose the right to do that skill basically at that point. That's rough. Oh gosh, yeah. That's a lot more enemies than any other time we've done this. Okay. Let's try to get them all together. Nope. More were still spawning. Oh gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Funny. Anyways, like, since ESO is that type of game, you really can't earn mounts of anything that looks cool. You can get, like, horse mounts and a few things depending on the, gosh, I want to say the event that's going on for the holidays. Get mounts because of that. Let's see. Cooldown reduced. Power up. Power up. This is honestly... Nope, nope. Incorrect. This is honestly this dude's bread and butter. Should always be trying to use that. Still only reduces the cooldown. Oh well. Let's switch out. But yeah, when you can only very easily get horses in ESO, or wait an entire year to get a different mount via the game's event system, basically, it makes you want to earn pets and mounts and cosmetics and all that fun stuff that usually endgame players like to mess around with and work towards. Makes you want to go for them, right? Beat 5 monsters without taking any damage. Oy vey. Christ. What is her gap closer? Not that one. That's the gap closer. This is the swipes. Okay. What else? What else? But it makes you want to try and get that stuff. You know, kind of like a person who's been playing a game for a long time and possibly even likes the game. Ooh. Actually, hold up. If I can kill this witch, this is actually super easy. But she needs to be away from the bat so I can only kill her. Other bat, please go away, please. Dude, what? Dude. Dude, you... Seriously? Fine, whatever. You can follow me all the way over here, then. Seriously. Oy vey. It is. Oh, nope. We don't need the weasel dudes. Not the weasel dudes, please. Not the weasels. Don't need those guys. Legit trying to frickin' strafe and only pull certain enemies. You know, like a witch girl. A witch girl. The only enemy I wanted to pull. And I completely flubbed that. Why did I assume they'd immediately be there? That was stupid of me. It was actually really dumb of me. Okay, cool. We did it. Anyways, guys, it's been an episode. Long story short. ESO rarely has collectibles in the main game, but usually in an MMO, you want to get a lot of collectibles by late game because it's a new fun thing to do in the MMO and your max level. But ESO has a majority of their collectibles that you can earn in game and not purchase with actual real money behind an obscenely large skill ceiling that a majority of players are not going to be able to reach. Yeah, like a lot of players can earn various collectibles. Last time I checked, there is a mount in ESO that I think only 3 guilds ever earned. Because it is just an absurd skill ceiling. But I'll talk to you guys later in another episode of Silent Hope. But until then, ciao.